Ladies and gentlemen, podcast listeners of all ages, are you bored with traditional and dull real estate content?
Yes!
Do you want to be entertained by the most successful, innovative, and forward-thinking industry professionals?
Yes!
Do you want to elevate your business, be challenged to take action, and raise the bar in your personal and business dojo?
Yeah!
Now welcome your ninja host, Jeff Fitzer.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for another episode of the Real Estate Mortgage Content Ninja podcast. And today I bring to you a little bit different guest than we've had in recent weeks. We're bringing on a guest who is his company is specific to the mortgage industry. And I hope to have a lot of mortgage listeners, and hopefully this resonates with you today. But if you're a real estate agent, this also resonates with you because this tool that we're going to talk about today is designed to help you with your business. So we all know that we're heading into a technology world. In fact, we're not heading there. We're already there. If you don't have technology at your fingertips and you don't have access to pretty much everything about the real estate process that you need on your mobile device, you're pretty much going to be left behind. You're going to miss out on opportunities to buy houses. You probably will be left behind, even potentially on locking in an interest rate and things of that nature. And we're going to talk more about that today. And so today we're bringing on a guest who is the Chief Marketing Officer with a company called SimpleNexus, who is the provider of our mortgage app. And this company is the provider of a mortgage app for many mortgage companies. And we're going to let him talk about that. Mr. Joe Wilson, welcome to the show, my friend.
Jeff, thanks for having me. We're happy to be here with you. And thanks for being a valued client too.
Absolutely. So first off, tell us just a little bit of 30,000 foot view about the company of SimpleNexus.
Yeah, totally. Well, thanks. So SimpleNexus, we're a digital mortgage provider, mobile first, and we create a platform that really connects lenders with their buyers and the realtors into a single branded platform, so you can exchange data and documents throughout the entire loan life cycle. We help borrowers throughout that entire process, whether they're looking for homes, so they can start with a home search, do their full loan application, upload their documents, see the loan process, the loan status throughout the entire process there, and even sign and upload documents. So that's what we do.
That's pretty slick. And you and I have talked about this in previous conversations before being on the air. You work with how many companies nationwide?
Yeah, we work with about 200 different lenders nationwide. Many of the top lenders in the country are using us, 15 out of the top 25. We got roughly 18,000 loan officers, and about 100,000 different realtor partners are also part of the platform. We've had over 500,000 borrowers go through the process, all on their mobile phones through SimpleNexus, representing over $100 billion in transactions.
That's pretty impressive. You said, did you say that again on how many LOs and how many agents?
Yeah, so there's 18,000 loan officers, and then 100,000 different realtor builder partners that have co-branded apps with those lenders. That's
pretty damn impressive. So going back to my intro, ladies and gentlemen, again, this is an app that is designed for the mortgage industry. However, as you can tell by the disparity of users, it's really designed for us mortgage professionals to provide you, the real estate agent, value. And let me just use that as a plug for any real estate agent who's listening right now. If your mortgage professional doesn't have a mortgage app, and more specifically, let's say the SimpleNexus mortgage app, you're leaving a little bit of convenience off the table. So, Joe, let's back up a little bit. Tell us a little bit about yourself. You're the Chief Marketing Officer with the company. What's your background in this business? Where do you come from? How'd you find this world?
Yeah, definitely. Well, we're here in Lehi, Utah. That's where SimpleNexus, our headquarters are, and we're all based here. But I actually grew up in the San Francisco Bay Area and just grew up with a love and fascination for real estate, which is kind of weird for a teenager sometimes. But when I was in college, I worked with a lot of different real estate companies, did all their marketing for them, made flyers, put the open house signs out, the for sale signs, put those in the ground, even took their cars for car washes. But once I graduated from college, I actually got into the finance side. So started as a mortgage loan officer, did that for about 6 years. And the past 10 years really transitioned over to the technology side and have been with companies such as Mortgagebot, Ellie Mae, and now SimpleNexus for the past 2.5 years.
Awesome. So Would you say, so you've been on the forefront of technology in our industry, which I would say, and you can answer this better than I can, but really hasn't become uber prevalent until probably the last 5 years. And the progression is happening very, very fast now. I mean, take us back 10 years. What were you doing on the technology side 10 years ago versus what you're seeing today?
It's funny, Jeff, because a lot of it is the same thing, but just in a different way, right? So 10 years ago, the big deal was getting an online loan application. I was working with a bunch of lenders across the country, and I even had one community bank in a small town in Texas tell me, he said, "Hey, Joe, I'd really love to do this, but I'm not sure this whole internet thing is going to stick around." And I just thought that was really funny because now 10 years later, not only is the internet sticking around, it's the way that everyone does business, right? Gone are the days when you'd have a borrower or a buyer really come into your office. It's really all done, not just on the internet anymore. It's really done, it is on the internet, but it's not on a desktop anymore. It's on your iPad, it's on your mobile phone. If you don't provide tools for your borrowers or your buyers that enables them to do it from anywhere, anytime on their mobile phone, you're really missing out. And this is every single demographic too. This is really the big thing that's changed is that technology and the use of it within the finance industry, a lot of times is considered to be something for younger people, like the millennials. And that sounds so cliche at this point, but really it's every single demographic out there. And I even have a great story I can share with you if you'd like about an 83-year-old woman. Okay, I'll tell you.
Say that again. How old? Because I think I cut you off. How old was she?
Okay. Yeah, an 83-year-old woman. Wow. Okay. So I had an 83-year-old buyer. I have a loan officer that works in Waco, Texas. And he had an 83-year-old recently widowed woman who was buying her first house by herself. Her husband taking care of everything. But she was moving from Houston all the way to Waco, which, if you know the geography in Texas, that's several hundred miles and several hours by car or by plane. And she was very nervous about this transaction. But this loan officer said, they were on the phone, and she asked if they could meet the next week on Tuesday to make loan application. She said she had all of her documents ready to go. And he asked her very simply, "Hey, do you happen to have a smartphone?" And wouldn't you know it, she said, I got one of those iPhone thingies for Christmas that my grandkids got for me, right? He said, "Well, go grab your iPhone." So imagine she, put her rotary phone down on the kitchen table, shuffled off, grabbed her purse, and grabbed her iPhone out of there. And while they were on the phone together, he actually texted her his app, and then she downloaded the app, which only takes a couple seconds. She applied for the mortgage, and she uploaded all of her documents from her kitchen table from several hours away, all through her mobile phone. And this took less than an hour. It was about 40 minutes on the phone together. And then so she was able to do the entire process right there from her mobile phone at 83 years old, never done a mortgage transaction before. That's really for absolutely everybody.
That's a testament. And I will say this too, because we have this conversation in our circles all the time. Nothing replaces, personal relationships. Nothing replaces face-to-face. But let's be honest, the person who said 10 years ago, "I'm not sure how long this internet thing is going to stick around," obviously he's probably adopted by now, or he's living somewhere out in the desert with no service whatsoever. He's a vagabond. But, even though there's going to be plenty of borrowers that are young and old that still want to meet face-to-face, I am one who would say, "Hey, you're telling me that you need my paycheck stub so I can take a picture of it and click upload." And then from the loan officer perspective, it uploads directly into their LOS system. So it's there for my assistant or my processor to handle. It doesn't get any easier than that.
Not only is it easy, Jeff, but it also saves time, right? We did a study on over 40,000 loans. Loans that went through SimpleNexus, loans that didn't. And we found that the ones that actually did closed 20% faster, which in some cases was over 10 full days for some lenders. And it's because it is that ease of use, right? Technology is here to really aid those personal relationships, not replace them. And I think that's a really important thing to mention, right? There's a lot of talk in the industry about technology replacing the loan officer, and I think that's just complete garbage. We want to crave those personal relationships, like you said, and our technology is there to aid those relationships, make them stronger, make them easier, and reduce that friction of getting things back and forth between the LO and the buyer, and then the buyer and the realtor and the LO, and all those three parties together using technology to make those connections stronger, not getting rid of them, because we all still need to have those questions answered by a real human and by someone who understands what's happening in the industry, not just some kind of concierge who's pushing papers around. That's not going to help anybody.
I totally agree. And I was just going to give you a quote that the president of our company says all the time, which is technology will not replace a loan officer, but a loan officer who embraces technology will replace one who does not.
I agree with you 100% on that.
That goes to you too, real estate agents. I mean, you hear what he just said, which is we're not trying to replace it. However, when you are in competing situations, which is very prevalent in a low inventory world that we're living in right now, sometimes closing a deal faster in 25 days versus 30 or 30 versus 45, it makes all the difference in the world. And sometimes getting an accepted contract. And if you're not working with a lender who embraces the technology and more specifically is using an app like SimpleNexus, or somebody who's willing to move faster because of the technology, man, I tell you what, you really need to check your business plan and go find you somebody who can get it done faster, because 10 days is a long time in our world, and it makes all the difference between succeeding and not.
Absolutely.
So, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. I was just thinking, too, it's not just that, getting things done quicker, but really one of the things that, you guys do with your app really well is provide that transparency with all those connections that we have between the LOS and the borrower and the realtor, is really providing that transparency of exactly what's happening on the loan process, right? So as things are changing in the back end with the processors, the underwriters, we're actually updating everybody in the process, the three key stakeholders, the borrower, the realtor, and the loan officer, all at the same time, real time with what's happening. So gone are the days when you don't really know what's happening with that loan. With that transparency, everyone's really kept up to date. And what that does is reduce those calls back and forth between everybody, knowing what's going on. Everyone's on the same page. Everyone's able to upload those documents and get their job done a lot quicker and more seamlessly. And that goes for real estate agents too, right? I think about a lot of times what I hear is, there's an addendum to the contract, or there's some other piece of items that the realtor may have that needs to get back to the lender. And they can use the app as well, upload those documents, and then they can see that those documents have been uploaded. And so, a lot of times what happens, unfortunately, and this is just because there's not a good way of communicating with other systems, is that it's the he said, she said, if I sent you that or I didn't, right? And what this platform really does is it helps everyone understand what has been sent in, and they can view those documents from their mobile phone that, hey, I did send you my W-2, or hey, I did ask for this, right? And it really just makes everybody easier to understand and reduces that friction to the whole process.
I love it. And I mean, communication is like, it's like our calling card. And if you don't have good communication, you typically will fail. Communication can heal a lot of pain. And like you just said, it basically can alleviate that. I mean, I'm looking at our app right now and just looking at a pipeline. And admittedly, I'm not full bore in the origination game anymore, but I still have a team that I kind of manage from that 30,000 foot view. And I'm looking at our pipeline. And this, like you said, not only is this valuable to the loan officer because they have mobile access to it from the golf course or from the beaches of some island, but also to the real estate agent and the borrower. I'm looking at a borrower right now that's the most updated one. It just says it's in underwriting, last updated 10/23, which was yesterday. And so you can go in here and see, okay, what's the status of my loan? And I don't know how all companies are set up, but ours is like a 4-step process, and it tells you, are you in step 1, 2, 3, or 4? 1 being the application phase, 4 being loans approved. And that's pretty slick. I mean, think about that, people. I mean, think about having access to, it's hard enough sometimes to get communication from lenders unless you've got a really good LO, and hopefully you're working with one like that. But now you've got access to actually following along, which just gives you that extra peace of mind in an already tenuous process as it is. I mean, it is slick as hell. And I will tell you that, obviously it's super slick just for an agent's perspective. If you're out with a buyer and you're showing homes, and let's just say, first off, you're looking at a variance of price points. And let's just use the most primitive piece of this, which to me is a loan calculator. That's pretty primitive. I think most mortgage apps have that. That's useful. You could be at an open house, you could be showing homes, you can plug and play, you can figure out what a payment would be. If the borrower is right there like, oh man, I want to ride on this house, and you're getting the feeling there's going to be multiple offers, you can have your buyer apply straight from their cellular device. It is literally that easy. And like you said, if an 83-year-old person can do this, anybody can do it. And literally updating docs using the scanner, it's as easy as taking a picture, right? I mean, Joe, it's that easy.
It's just like mobile check deposit, and virtually everyone's been able to do that, right? You snap a picture of your check or your W-2, whatever it is. It does not save it to the device, so you've got the extra layer of security on there, and it goes directly back into the lender's back-end processing system. And Jeff, you brought up a cool point too that I want to highlight. You mentioned, a lot of hot homes out there, and realtors shopping around a buyer, and if they can apply for that loan, but then that loan application goes directly to you as the loan officer, right? And this could be a Saturday afternoon, and you're at your kid's soccer game. Well, what do you do now, right? Well, as a loan officer, you can see that full loan application right away. You can pull their credit, you can run a pricing scenario, and then with that, you can send a pre-qual letter right there from your phone, giving that instantaneous response and instantaneous service back to the borrower and the realtor to help them get into that home quicker, get that offer sent out quicker, getting ahead of maybe other buyers who are using a lender that might have to wait till Monday until they're back in the office, right? So again, what we're trying to do is reduce that friction, reduce that time to serve the other folks as a loan officer.
That's sick. I mean, you hear what he just said. I mean, literally, you could be anywhere. This makes your life so much easier because you don't have to be like, hey, I'm at little Susie's soccer game, or I'm out on the golf course, or I'm out boating this weekend. You can do it literally. If you have internet access, you can handle basically everything that you need to right there. You can see the application, you can pull the credit, you can even price it, and you can even send a damn pre-qualification letter. That is sick, man. That is really, really cool. We are thankful for people like you and companies like yourself.
Well, we're thankful for you guys in buying our software. So
that's good stuff. So, Joe, let me ask you a question that, if I don't have a lot of knowledge about this, but I'm in the industry, a couple things. One, how busy is that mortgage app space? So what separates SimpleNexus? What makes it better than another mortgage app? And I'm asking this not because I already know this answer. We're with SimpleNexus because we think it's the best. I've had other mortgage apps that didn't have quite all the bells and whistles, but you tell us, somebody who may not have as much knowledge or experience as I do.
Yeah, well, I put this type of technology to two different categories. There's the mobile app, and then there's other competitors or other platforms out there that are really just like a loan application. And mobile apps a couple of years ago were all the rage, right? And then now it's kind of this bar experience. Once Quicken came out with their Super Bowl ad that said push button, get mortgage, everyone's like, I need to have that experience, right? And so then there's a bunch of these web 1003s, basically like what we were doing 10 years ago with Mortgagebot, right? So we'll start with the mortgage apps. A lot of them, there's a lot of really good apps out there that serve different purposes. Nobody really does it just like SimpleNexus, and where we really hang our hat is all the different connections that we have, and those connections make it really key to be able to move those transactions forward. So a lot of those mortgage apps out there might be just like a virtual business card and a calculator, or there's another one that does just a pre-approval, which I have some compliance concerns out there with the borrower or the realtor generating their own pre-quals without the lender really knowing what's happening. But really for us, we connect into the LOS, we connect to credit reporting agencies, pricing engines, verification of assets like Form Free or Finicity, AMCs for the appraisal updates, things like that. So all those connections, those other apps really don't have them. And so when you have those connections, you can really create a platform or portal that allows the loan officers to really access all the information they need, but also provide real-time updates to the borrowers and to the realtors as well. So that's the mobile app side. From a web loan application side, there are a dime a dozen. I was just at MBA Annual last week, and you can't throw a rock and not hit one of their vendors out there because there's just a bunch of them. It's great, you can start a new loan application site, have a couple connections to provide day one certainty, and you've got a winner, right? Well, that's fine and good, right? And a lot of those are if you start looking at them, your brain will spin because they all kind of look the same. They have very similar pitches. And while we provide that loan application on the web as well, that's really just one piece of the entire transaction, right? That's a a hopefully 15, 20-minute process for your borrower to actually apply for a loan. We try to get wider in that space, right? So we go get in the pocket of that borrower a lot earlier with those co-branded apps, with the realtors being able to provide that for the buyer up front. So they can do home search or look at the realtors' Yelp reviews or, anything other information they want to provide. They can do the home search all the way through that loan application and then all the way from the loan application to closing. So without having really, and then because the deep connections, the LOS and these other connections we talked about earlier provides a more broader experience. And when I think about what the market's at today, and Jeff, I know you know this as well as anybody, it's really transitioned 100% now to purchase transactions. Whereas versus just doing refinances. And those loan applications are great if you have a really great funnel of bringing in new buyers from the web or what have you, and want to have a self-service model. But in today's economy, today's market, it's all about relationships and those referral-based business. So a digital strategy for lenders really needs to incorporate not just a borrower experience into your platform, but also a loan officer experience, because those are the guys who are really getting the loans in the door for the company. But then more importantly, as well as that realtor experience, because without those referral sources and being a part of that platform, the loan officers can't really do their job very well. So when I think about, kind of a long way to the short answer here is a lot of other platforms are just considering that borrower experience and not what the overall digital experience needs to be for the LO, the borrower, and the realtor. And that's where SimpleNexus really comes into play.
I couldn't agree more. And let me recap that. So first of all, as a realtor, this is co-branded, so it's marketing you too. So it's that easy. It is a digital business card, which frankly, I don't know about you, but when somebody hands me a business card anymore, I'm like, really? Come on. Right, exactly. Right in the trash, because that is where they end up. Or they end up in a Rolodex, which I still have one on my desk, by the way. I just never get into it. They end up in a Rolodex that I never look at. But we're talking about, messaging, appraisal, CRM, which is a customer relationship manager, pricing, credit. You can do credit polls. You can get loan updates. It's connected to your LOS, which is your loan origination software. So if you're using Compass or something like that, it connects to it. You can upload documents, which makes it super, super easy. And from a realtor's perspective, there are some home search features as well. Let's talk about that feature for a minute, because that's less mortgage related and that's more, relevant to realtors. Talk about the home search feature.
Yeah, definitely. So there's a couple different ways that we can incorporate home search into this platform. And it really depends on what the lender wants to do and what the realtor wants to do. So we have a bunch of realtors that have mobile-friendly websites, and it's as simple as just putting that link into our app here and allowing that borrower to, within the app where they're applying for the loan and seeing the contact information for the realtor and the buyer and the loan officer, is be able to do that home search. So we can do it from the realtor's native website that they have, the ability to do that home search on there. But we also have connections to a couple different third-party platforms that are fully integrated into our system. So those are Mobility RE and HBM, which is Home Scout. And those are really neat platforms as well. And particularly like these because it is more of a native app functionality, feel for that buyer. And it's single sign-on, so you don't have to create a new account for that other app. It's all seamless within there. And the neat thing about those two from a lender and realtor perspective is that there are a lot of analytics and data that goes along with those platforms, showing you where your buyers have searched, and other data about what's happening in the market, and then providing those back to the lender and the realtor so you can kind of understand not only what's happening with that home buyer that you're both working with, but also what's happening in the market, what kind of the trends are out there as well.
Very, very cool. It's literally, this is one-stop shop. This is a tool that you could essentially use that eliminates several other tools and takes your super busy app-filled iPhone or cellular device and kind of cleans it up a little bit and makes it a heck of a lot easier. It makes your job easier. It makes you stand out. So not only you, the loan officer, to the realtor, but the realtor to your buyers, because you're making it so easy for them to have access to all these things that just make everybody's lives a little bit easier. And that's kind of what we're all after here. Joe, do you have anything else that you want to talk about with the app? I think we've kind of covered everything. I mean, I tell you what, if you're listening to this and you're not requesting information or requesting a demo, tell the listener how they can get a hold of you, how they can find the company SimpleNexus, and what they'd have to do to get signed up.
Yeah, it's actually really easy. You just go to simplenexus.com, and we have a little button on the top right-hand corner. You click on Request Demo. You could also reach out to us via email, sales@simplenexus.com, or you can look me up on LinkedIn and shoot me a direct message on there. I'm always on there. The name again is Joe Wilson, SimpleNexus. So we'd love to hear from you. I'd love to help you out any way we can. It's actually pretty easy to get up and running. We have lenders that get up and running in about a week's time. Some take a little longer than that, but we've got these integrations down pat. And really, the thing that takes longest is usually just deciding, what customization you want to put in there, what colors and fonts and graphics, and all your custom branding on there. But it's a pretty simple process. We try to make it as easy and painless for you as possible.
Now, do you work with only a certain size company, or are you working with, a mom and pop, 1 or 2 person shop to a, 1,000 person company?
Yeah, we work with all different shapes and sizes. So we have companies that have, as little as like 3 or 4 loan officers, and we have some of the top 10, that have 3, 4, 5,000 loan officers. So really, this is the great equalizer, right? So everyone can have the same type of technology, and we make it affordable for every different type of lender out there to utilize this. So we'd be happy to talk more about it.
I love it. And once again, if you haven't been paying attention to what I've been saying, if you don't have this tool, you're absolutely missing out, because there are, 15 out of the top 25 mortgage companies in the country. That encompasses a lot of loan officers. They have this tool, and hopefully they're using it to its fullest with their realtor partners, because, guess what? In a noisy world, we've got to stand out. We've got to find any way we can to stand out with all of our tools and bells and whistles and technology. And SimpleNexus is absolutely a bullet that you need to have in your gun. It is one of the most crucial bullets in our gun, and we are proud to stand up and say that we are a user. We're proud to have a partnership with you guys. And is there anything else you want to add, Joe? I don't want to end this without you saying everything that you have to say.
No, I think we're good, man. I really just appreciate it, and we're grateful for all the lenders that use us, and I think it's just a wonderful industry. And again, I think just my parting words would be, utilize technology to enhance those relationships, and really create a strong, partnership between you as a lender with your realtor, and together you provide a better experience for your borrower. Amen
to that. And Joe, I appreciate you being on the show today. Again, give it one more time. It's simplenexus.com is the website. Give us how to find you one more time, and we'll sign off.
Yeah, go to simplenexus.com, click that request demo button, shoot us an email at sales@simplenexus.com, or look me up on LinkedIn, Joe Wilson.
Awesome, Joe. It has been a pleasure. And once again, if you like what you have to hear on this show, please like us, please share us, please rate us, please leave your feedback. We would greatly appreciate it. We're just trying to provide content and provide value to all industry professionals. And hopefully today, if you're not using SimpleNexus, you will soon be using it. And send us a message and say thanks, because you won't regret it. Joe, thanks again. It was great chatting with you, and looking forward to hopefully a long-term partnership together. Likewise. Thanks so much.
If you're looking to elevate your business, aligned with continual innovation and evolution, Jeff wants to talk to you. Go to FitzerMortgageTeam.com and connect with him today.